Macho John Madden Juanito at the northern end of the Akumal Pueblo, where I now rent an apartment. Have been here for a month at this point. I see European-looking people going through the Pueblo of Akumal. Mostly the Europeans live elsewhere, the Americans, the Canadians, the Germans, whoever are settling here, most of them have a second house here and live elsewhere. But there are people who live in the Pueblo, I think not this far out. So I'm a babe in toyland out here. I have a crew of workers working on the electricity in my house, and they're super handy, and they don't have to watch their step as they walk through the yard. I barely can walk through my yard without falling down because it's not regular like I'm used to. But it's not the first time I'm making a video. It's not the first time that I've done things like this. When my wife and I lived in Nova Scotia, Canada, down in the little hamlet of Lower Cove outside of Joggins, Nova Scotia, we lived there for 2 years. We could have been there forever, and we always would have been the Americans down the road. When I broke out of Asheville, North Carolina, where I had been for a few years, I got a disability settlement and had some money and moved out to the country. Where I lived out there, my landlord, Ray Troll, who was really great, it was Madison County, which was famous among Ashevilleans for being backwards. But that was quite the overreach to think we understood all that. And Ray was a mensch. He was a great guy. But he did use the classic Madison County line on me. He said, "You ain't from here, is you?" And that could not have been more true. But every place I've pioneered, I've learned a lot. I'm proud of being in Mexico 20 months, but I feel like a baby all over again out here, off the beaten path. So much to learn. So much to learn. The rules are different out here. To the extent that there are rules, the norms, the ways of operating, how people live, how they do their work. I'm lucky. I am so incredibly lucky and blessed to have helpers like that guy who just went down there, Marcos, my landlord, Mayan by birth and speaks fluent Mayan. He's indigenous. And all these folks who know how it works out here. And I'm happy like I've never ever been, partly because I'm planted finally after 4.5 years on the road, 4 years on the road. But partly because I have such enormous friends. We're planning a housewarming party. When Marcos is ready to show off this little house that he completely gutted and remodeled, when the yard is the way he wants it, I have a housewarming party and people are psyched for it. We'll have music and dancing in the house and hanging out here. And they don't just tolerate me, they value me. They like it that I'm working hard on my Spanish, and like it that I've been here for 20 months, and like it that I'm not a tourist, but someone who wants to live with them. And I do, big time. I feel blessed and honored.